Natasha, and thank you so much for joining me today, because today is one of the funnest techniques, and I promise you that you are going to get hooked on this one, because this is so fun and so simple. The best thing is that there is a lot of freedom with this technique. The results are amazing, and it's just a really fun one to do. Now, I am going to be using the Dina Wakley acrylic paints today. Now, I like these ones for several reasons. I love the colors. I love the size of the bottles, which also means they have a good price point. I like the this is sort of a medium to heavy body acrylic, so it stays in place really nicely. But I'm going to show you, if you have flip cap ones or something like that, then I'm going to use those too. Now, this is a scraper. I have a generic one here. I know that scrapbook.com sells their branded ones. I know that Simon Hurley has one. They are all fairly similar, pretty much the same, honestly. So I'm going to be using this. If you don't have some sort of scraper, then you could use an old gift card, an old credit card, an old hotel card. You could even use the edge of an acrylic block, or you could use a ruler. Something straight is the answer. Now, I am going to put down some dots. Now, this whole thing, I like doing dots, but you can do lines, you can do whatever you wish. Now, I put down all the dots of one color first, and then I fill in the inside ones with another color. Now, I pretty much just stuck to doing two colors along here. You can see that these are pretty small dots. There is not much paint being used, but a little bit of paint goes a long way. Then we are going to drag this gorgeous paint. You can see I still have some left there, so I'm starting again. And because we are dragging it, and it is such a thin layer, I can drag the scraper over the previous paint and not ruin it, because it's so thin, it's almost drying immediately. Now, I'm just going to do one more swipe here because I have so much color on here, and you can see it creates a fun pattern where they have crossed over. Nothing is perfect about this, but this one here is a flip cap. Now, I think this is the Dilutions one in a black, and I'm just going to do the same thing, little dots. Now, depending on what you have, you could do these dots. You could try doing them with a paintbrush. You could try also using a pipette if you would like to try that way. I don't know, some way to get little dots. As I said, these little Dina Wakley paints are my absolute favorite. These have lasted me so long, and I just love the application. I love the colors, and I love the paint itself. So this one I did black and white. Now, obviously the black and white is going to, the background is white, so it's just going to look like black essentially, but I like it. I like the way the paint goes together, and the best thing about these is that you can layer these up and come back to it. So some of these I am going to let them dry, so to speak, and then I'm going to come back later on and add more. Now, this one I was trying to do a really pretty tight circle, seeing what I could get, but yeah, I didn't stay in as tight there on the other side, but that's okay. It makes an extra fun shape. It's more like a swirl, I guess, but yeah, just really fun. You can go to town with this. You could try and just get a whole circle, a 360-degree circle. That would be fun, but honestly, as I said, the paint goes a really long way, so the drops that you're putting on shouldn't be too big at all. They can be pretty small, and then you can just sort of have fun. This one here, I took the paint from the previous one because waste not, want not, and then I'm going to add it to a new one. And as I said, you can just keep doing other colors. I don't really have too many metallic paints like gold and silver and things like that, or bronze. I think that would be really fun to incorporate into some of these, to incorporate a little bit extra, but I didn't have any, so that's just an idea. And then, as I said, you don't have to do circles, or you don't have to create these sort of shapes. You can go straight across, you can go on an angle, you can start in the middle of your page, just go for gold. Of course, I also think that you could just create a gorgeous rainbow. This is such an easy way to do it. Use all the colors of the rainbow instead of just doing two colors and alternating them like I did. Just use all the colors of the rainbow and then do a nice big twirl over with your scraper, and you've got a gorgeous rainbow that took seconds to make. In fact, I might have to try that at some point. It seems like fun. Now here I have the white, and I think this is the blush color. Of course, the white is going to be, it's only semi-opaque, so it's a little bit transparent when you put it over such dark colours. But that's okay. The blush absolutely fades into the background there, and yeah, it's just fun. I was layering these up and just having fun with them, so there's no rules, no rhyme or reason, and I find that you can kind of cut these backgrounds into whatever you please. There's so many different ways you can do die cutting out of them. You can use them as backgrounds themselves, and I am of course going to turn this into cards today too. If you do end up trying this technique, I would love to see the results, and the easiest way that you can show me pictures is to join my Facebook group and post the pictures on there. So my group is called Come Crafting with Natasha, and we have an amazing supportive community there. I'm so grateful. There are so many good ideas. So come along and post your pictures there so I can see that you've tried this technique, or you were inspired by this technique to do something similar or not. I would love to see it. So as you can see, I would just keep going and going and going. This reminds me of jelly printing in that there just is no end, and you can just keep adding layers over and over and over again. This is really, really fun, and just layering up everything, putting colors like purples and oranges on top of each other, which you might not otherwise do, or blues and oranges, things that otherwise might clash. It's really fun to layer them up and see what you get. So I'm going to stop here just with a few of these. I kept going later after this because I couldn't help myself. But they were a really fun range, and you can see that blue and greens are obviously one of my favorite colors. Now this is the Happy Birthday 2-piece word dies from scrapbook.com. I also have some holographic cardstock and some Stick It double-sided adhesive. I'm taking one of those holographic sheets. My favorite thing about this is that it gives you, I don't know, is there 8 different kinds or so of holographic sheets? So there's tiny ones, there's bigger dots, there's stars, there's all sorts, and you don't have to buy a really big package of them. You can just buy this little thing. This little paper sheets are 4 1/4 by 5.5 inches, so perfect for card fronts, but you can also die cut out of them too. Now I'm taking these 2 dies here. They actually layer up, but I want the happy to stay in the holographic one, so I'm just cutting off the happy from the happy outline from the birthday outline, and I'm just putting plain white cardstock over top just to break up that text so that it's very readable. Now from here, so many places you can go, but I think I'm going to go somewhere that maybe you're not thinking. I think this would just look really nice even if you just added a matting layer and some sequins. I think this looks gorgeous. It stands out, it shows off the background, all sorts of beautiful. So that's really simple, but I decided today to go a little bit further and keep going. Surprise, surprise. This is the Organic Petals 3D embossing folder. I'm just putting a piece of plain white cardstock in here. This is really just going to be a background piece for my card front, and my machine is not big enough to fit my cards through with these bigger embossing folders, so that's okay. I will just add another layer. And then from here, I'm taking this background and I am very, very roughly sketching out sort of the bottom-ish of a balloon. So this is meant to look like a balloon. You can be the judge at the end whether that's what it actually looks like. I know that there are dies for this. I'm sure there are dies, but that's okay. This is a simple enough shape that I think I've got this one, and hopefully you can tell at the end what this is. I think I'm getting a big enough piece here that you're able to see the background and it kind of shows it off in the fun technique, but I also think that this turns it into a card rather than just using it as a background, which is fun too. Either is good. Now this is my card base there. I have a 4 1/4 by 5.5 inch card base. I'm putting my embossed layer on there, and again this is just a little bit of texture and a little bit of something going on in the background without distracting too much and without adding any extra colors at all. Then I'm going to add my balloon on just flat to this one. I'm keeping it pretty plain and simple because there's a lot going on for this card, and the balloon is just going to fit squarely into that top left hand corner. Because I have made the bottom of the balloon big enough, I'm able to wrap some actual string around the bottom there, and I think this helps to add the look that it's a balloon. I think it's pretty obvious, but it just helps a little bit. So this is just some twine I have, and I'm trying to decide whether to use the green or the blue and see which one matches a little bit better. I end up going with the green one, wrap it around a few times, tie a knot, and then it's up to you how long you would like to leave the little string from the balloon. And then, because as I said, there's quite a lot going on, and we already used holographic cardstock for the sentiment, so all I'm going to do is put the sentiment straight down in the middle of the balloon, and I think it stands out perfectly from the background. It has the stickered adhesive on the back, which means I can just peel it off, stick it down like a sticker, and it is going to be nice and permanent there. But other than that, that is my card for today. I hope you've enjoyed this technique. I had so much fun creating this one. Of course, I will have supplies listed down below, but there are not too many supplies that you need to create these backgrounds. I'll have the links to the dies and things like that I used for the sentiment. And also, I will have a link down there to the Buy Me a Coffee in case you would like to support my channel. I am always excited to bring you at least 3 videos every single week. But other than that, thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks, bye!